Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of King Herod, behold, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star at its rising, and have come to do him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was greatly troubled, and all of Jerusalem with him. Assembling all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They said to him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it has been written through the prophet, and you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, since from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and ascertained from them the time of the star's appearance. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I too may go and do him homage." After their audience with the king, they set out. And behold, the star that had been seen at its rising preceded them, until it came and stopped over the place where the child was. They were overjoyed at seeing the star, and on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother. They prostrated themselves and did him homage, and then they opened their treasures and offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed for their country by another way. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. I spent New Year's Eve with an old group of friends from high school. We've been doing this for almost 30 years now, and although each time we get together we seem to keep repeating those old high school stories, there's something really comforting about being with people you've known most of your life, and I always look forward to getting together with them. At some point during the evening, though, one of my friend's wives approached me and said, "Hey, Tom, is your older sister a teacher at Magnificat High School?" No, I kind of stiffened because that's my older sister I'm not so crazy about. And so I quickly said yes, and I tried to change the subject. "I thought it was her," she said. "She's got a different name now, but you two still look a lot alike." Again, I didn't know what to say, and was wondering what strange story she was going to share with me about my sister. And then she said, "My daughter says that your sister is the best teacher she's ever had. She's always coming home with stories about her class. She's the only teacher that my daughter really connects with. You must be proud of her. Not many people can connect with teenagers." So I stood there and didn't quite know what to say to that, and she walked away, just kind of smiled, but I wondered, why is it so hard for me to see that in my sister? Why do I seem only to find the negative things about her? Why can't I even see dimly what others so clearly see in my sister? On this feast of the Epiphany, we hear this favorite story of our faith. 3 kings bringing kind of strange baby gifts, and the baby is the Son of God lying in the dirt of a manger. It's the final part of the Christmas story, filled with all sorts of allusions and ironies, because the child of the manger is not recognized by his own people but rather by strangers from a distant land. The advisors of King Herod had predicted the time and the place of the birth of the child, but then Herod rejects him and wants him to be killed. The child's coming is proclaimed by this brilliant star shining in the east, but nobody in Bethlehem seems to see it. It's only visible by a group of strangers who've come from very far away. The story is held up for us not to tell us something about the Jewish people, but rather maybe to tell us something about ourselves. Because I think the story reminds us that members of a family oftentimes miss the splendor of God's revelation that take place right at their dinner tables, while strangers oftentimes point out the radiance of it. We see that in our parish. Wonderful things happen in this community all the time, yet so often we close our eyes to them, we don't get involved, or we say, I didn't know they had that here. The glory of God is revealed in the people we eat dinner with every night. Yet so often we find ourselves pointing out what's wrong with those people. We've just celebrated a lot of family time in these last weeks. And in the midst of all of that, we've come to Mass, we've heard beautiful music, you've brought gifts for the poor, and you did your best to jam in to make sure everyone got a seat on Christmas. But now the kids are going back to school. Many of you are going back to work. Decorations have to come down. Has any of that this year changed you? I mean, are you different because of this past Christmas season? Or what do you need to see differently in your life this year? Maybe this year, maybe it's the time to try again with your family and look for the star that shines over your house. Maybe they don't need gold, frankincense, or myrrh. Maybe they need the gift of your patience, or the gift of your time, or just your presence with them. Or maybe this is the year that you need to see the star that shines over your coworkers. I mean, to look at them tomorrow in a different way, with Christmas eyes that have been enlightened, and maybe present to them simply the gift of yourself. Or maybe this is the year that you need to see the star that shines over Ronald McDonald House, or the Warrensville Developmental Center, the Cleveland Food Bank. Maybe the gift of yourself to one of those agencies might be a true gift of meaning. The light of the star led the wise men to the manger. Although we never hear that anyone in Bethlehem actually saw that star. But I think sometimes it takes a stranger or a high school classmate to point out the mystery or the beauty, the wonder of God's presence right in our own families. I think the Christmas season lays the choice before us every year. Do you want to look for the star? Or do you want to wallow in the darkness? Do you want to dwell on what's wrong with your family? Or do you want to look for the star and celebrate the light there? Do you want to join with Herod, the chief priests and the scribes? Or do you want to join with the wise men and look for the child in your life? The message of the Feast of the Epiphany is is really a simple one. Don't miss out. Don't miss out on the glory of the star that shines in your